All right, what's up guys? Michael Corley, 23 Media. Getting to do something that I think is every vet rider's dream, or every weekend warrior's dream, which is riding A-kit suspension or cone valve or factory suspension, whatever you want to call it. The guys at REP Suspension, Mark, Jeremy, they hooked it up with a set of forks and a shock. It's set up for like a base weight or like a 180 or 190 kind of weight range, which is not what I am. I'm a big heavy vet rider. But the good thing about it is my skill level is like a decent novice and like a really crappy intermediate. So the lack of, I think, stiffness of what my weight would be, I think is going to make up for it in just the overall stiffness of the suspension in general. Because if you've never ridden factory stuff or even sat on it, it's really stiff, and you kind of have to get through like the stroke of the suspension to be able to really start feeling it. So that's going to be the goal today. We're at Kaweah Creek. It's one of my favorite tracks and a track that I know really well. Gonna kind of adjust a little bit with it, but I'm gonna kind of keep it where they gave it to me. And then tomorrow I'll be at Paula, and I'll meet with Jeremy, and he'll kind of help me out a little bit more and maybe set it up a little bit more for my style. So I've ridden kit suspension one time, but it was not on my own bike, and this is my own actual personal bike. So I think it's gonna be a little bit easier for me to kind of transition and get used to it. So yeah, I think it would be kind of cool. I'm gonna get some riding clips out here while I'm out here, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully this brings like a little bit of enjoyment for like the normal factory, or the normal, I wish factory, but normal weekend warrior rider like myself. Just a vet rider. I'm a dad that works a full-time job. So yeah, I think it should be fun. On this side of it. After riding it for 2 laps, this shit is amazing. Amazing. You need to push it a little harder, but it's good. It's solid. Oh man. Woo! That was fun. All right. That was so bad. That was so bad. That's like all the, so that's like with all the good shots that you see, there's about 30 of those for the one good shot. Just so you know.
Pretty much.
Dude, I got on the back brake And like, as soon as I got on the back brake, it like threw me to the front, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I forgot how to ride. Oh, that was terrible. All right, let's do this again. All right, now you guys saw yesterday at Kauai. Now I'm with the guy that's responsible for getting me the suspension, Jeremy from AEO Power Sports. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do this. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's definitely something that I just found out that this is actually suspension that came off of his bike. So it's kind of cool that he really knows exactly what the suspension does and what it's capable of and things like that. So in your opinion, vet factory rider, or I keep saying factory rider because it's factory A kit suspension, or it's, close to it, is, what do you think about like a weekend warrior riding with stuff like this?
I still think it's a big benefit. The adjustability, going back to a spring fork, a lot of guys are liking that a lot more. Just the sheer fact of tunability is huge, and the vet guy is actually the guy that probably purchases this the most.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a guy that like could afford it, and so that was actually the biggest misconception that I had with it is that it was only for fast riders, right?
Yeah, that's obviously a myth. Like, we probably do, I would say 75% of it goes to more of a vet guy that can, it's not the least expensive suspension out there. Yeah. So, but there is, it does hit a wide range of guys, off-road even. A lot of off-road guys like it. Just the fact that it has a spring in it is a little more consistent than air, a lot of guys think. So
I'll tell you that right now, I'm switching from air. And obviously these forks are going to be way different than what a spring conversion, because you guys do a spring conversion, and everybody has told me that you guys have really good settings on that too. But I definitely want to get away from the air.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the air.
So a good alternative to the cone fork, if you're trying to save some money and that works really good, is the 6500 kit that WP offers. It's kind of the middle of the road. So you can set up your air stuff. You can do a 6500 kit, and then you can buy the whole cone fork. The nice thing about the cone fork is, as long as it fits the next generation bike, you can take it from bike to bike and get your value out of it. Yeah. Same thing with the shock, where if you do a 6500 kit or you're revalving and setting up, it kind of has to go with the bike, and you lose your setup because it's more specific for you than a wide range of people.
Yeah, I think anybody that buys a bike that rides needs to get suspension done, like regardless. I just think it's just such a benefit to having it. So today we're at Paula, or Fox Raceway. Yesterday I was riding at Kauai, which is kind of a mellow track.
Yeah.
It's sandy. It's like it doesn't get rough. Like, I think today will give me a different feel for it, and more like a moto track. Like, this is more like a motocross track. We're gonna set the sag because I wasn't able to do that yesterday, so I think that's gonna be able to help me out a little bit. But the tunability of it, I think, is where a lot of people don't understand of how good you can make this stuff. You can make the little tiny changes where you make a change on like normal stuff. It's just a drastic difference. You could kind of make like little like hairline, I guess, like differences on this. So I'm excited. I'm excited to run it here. I think it's going to be good.
The good thing about the Pro components is obviously the external adjustability with the preload, the high and low speed rebounds on the shock, high and low speed compression on the shock. But honestly, there's more adjustability inside the suspension. Yeah. So where Mark, obviously my partner in REP AEO suspension, he has designed and made a lot of his own tuning parts that we offer to a lot of the tuners and to the public as well. But we make our own spring purchase, LSVs, check nuts, our own adjusters. I mean, the list goes on, and that helps tremendously too on the tunability. Obviously, it can change the price of the suspension, but we kind of made ourselves like the Ferrari dealership of suspension. We wanted to kind of do something different, and we offer like the trackside support.
Yeah.
We try to come out and help the riders that have had their stuff set up, and that's kind of what we're doing today with you, is kind of giving you that treatment of, once we set it up doesn't mean, hey, you're done. We obviously answer a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
We try to help over the phone, because we don't just have Southern California and Arizona riders. We have a lot of East Coast guys and middle of the country guys. So we're doing a lot of tunability over the phone. And then, but obviously the best you can is one-on-one stuff at the track, or like when I do the group tuning like I am today. But it does help, just chassis setup is critical, torquing stuff right, and then making sure that you can fine tune the clickers to work for you, know, so that helps. That's one thing we do a lot. Obviously we can't do it every day, and we try to do it a couple times a month, and group people together and get them dialed in.
But the cool thing is, it's not like you have to have the suspension from here to get it.
No, we help a lot of people. We help out with other companies' suspension, stock suspension, and the reason we do that too is obviously it helps with future business, and just the sheer fact that we just like helping people out.
And I don't think as far as I remember, I don't think any other suspension or even any other shop companies do that. I don't think I've ever remember really seeing the trackside support. So like if you guys are here, or if you guys are at a track and you see the box fan, it may be Jeremy, it may be somebody else that's in the suspension team or at the shop. Stop and ask them questions. This is why they're here, right? And I think a lot of people have that other misconception is like, well, I don't have REP suspension, so I don't want to stop there and get upset and make them upset because it's not their stuff. It doesn't matter. Like, just stop in, tell them kind of what you're feeling and what you're experiencing, and they'll be able to like go through that with you, right? And actually educate you too. I think that's another piece of it too. A lot of people they're afraid to mess with stuff because they're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to mess something up.
Even just to bar positioning, fork height, obviously sag being correct. That's a huge factor in setting up your bike, and a lot of people just throw stuff on and don't torque stuff right, don't make sure sag's adjusted right, the fork height's right, anything like that. And that's a huge starting point, because if that stuff's off, you're kind of starting behind or at a deficit, and then you're adjusting around something that's not correct. So
all right, cool. Well, we're gonna set the sag. I'm gonna do some laps. I'll probably come back in, and if there's anything that is off, I'll come in and I'll talk to Jeremy about it, and we'll play with some stuff, which I think is going to be pretty cool today. I didn't have that luxury yesterday, so I'm going to use you. Thank you. But thank you for letting me do this. This is like a dream of mine to be able to do it. So thank you to you and Mark for setting it up and like getting it ready and stuff like that. So it's cool.
No, sounds good. Thank you.
Is a kit suspension worth it? That's why you guys watch this video, or you clicked on it and skipped ahead to this part. Either or, thank you for watching it. I appreciate it. And let's answer the question. Is a kit suspension or cone valve suspension, is it worth it? Yes, it is. I was gonna go like a long-winded answer on that, but really it is. It is worth it. Now, it depends on what it means of worth it is to you, right? You could either say, I wanna spend $7,000 on suspension, and then that makes it worth it for you for what you're gonna get from it, sure. Or you could say, I'd rather spend $2,000 getting it redone for your, for your ability and size and weight and all that stuff, and that'll be good for you too. It all depends on your preference, okay? So everything that I'm gonna say, take it with a grain of salt. It isn't the end all be all. I wish I was like Chris Kiefer and could tell you the exact specifics about all the suspension and all the differences and everything that you could do. I'm not. I'm just a vet rider, weekend warrior type rider, and he does a killer job, and other people do a killer job of like the actual specifics on it. But here's what I loved about it, okay? Here it is. I felt a lot more stable. I felt that I could push myself and push the bike a lot harder than I could on my regular suspension. Granted, it is air. My regular forks are air forks, and it adjusts a little bit because of that. But it definitely was a lot easier for me to transition into these and to be able to work really hard at them, right? Work really hard on the track. I felt planted in corners. If I over jumped something, I actually tended to find myself over jumping things a lot more because you could just land and it just kind of sticks and stays. And then even coming up short on jumps, you case something, instead of it kind of bouncing you a little bit, you just kind of plant and stay, which is really nice. The other thing that I really liked is, and I hate to say it, but there's bragging rights to saying that you have a kit suspension, right? Part of being a vet rider is having a bunch of cool stuff on your bike. Sorry, you either own that or you don't, but I'm gonna own it. So that is kind of a cool thing of it. I do wish it was coated, like you had like the blue fork tubes and anodized uppers and stuff like that. That'd have been kind of cool, but there is an aspect to that which is kind of fun. And then just like the overall feel of it was really nice. And then the customization, that was something that when Jeremy helped me and get kind of this whole thing set up, is I didn't realize how much you could customize this stuff and you could really tune it. You could fine tune everything. That was not something I was expecting. So that was a pleasant surprise. The only thing I didn't really like about it is like kind of going back to me as a vet rider, is at some point you get tired, right? And you don't just pull off the track. You're not like ready to be done riding, but you just kind of need a breather. It's really harsh, right? So like it's gonna be really stiff. It hurts your hands, when you're not riding it hard. It doesn't mean that you can't ride it. It just means that it's gonna kind of make you pay for it when you're just kind of cruising. So in the end, I have to say thank you to Jeremy and Mark at REP and AEO Power Sports. Like, thank you so much for letting me have the opportunity at doing this. It wasn't something that I ever really dreamed of doing. It was a really cool experience, first and foremost. Like, it was just something that not everybody gets to do. And so Jeremy and Mark, thank you guys so much for letting me have this opportunity. It's been really fun. So I hope you guys like this video. It was me just kind of testing some things out, and I don't know, maybe I'll start doing more of these. Maybe I'll start doing other ones, testing other stuff. I don't know, but I'm having a good time doing it. So thank you guys for watching. And I hate asking, but I have to like and subscribe to the video and to the channel. Turn on the bell. That's the only way that really YouTube kind of picks these things up. So thank you guys, it's been fun.